Hi, my name's Andrew Sanchez, and this is my video submission for the M4 final hackathon that was in class. Yes, so this dataset was on trying to classify whether someone was diabetic or not, given on a certain dataset. I'm going to be focusing on three questions. First question is, what did you do to improve the performance of your classifier? Well, to improve the performance of my classifier, I focus on three main areas: feature preparation, handling class imbalance, and model tuning. Since this dataset comes from behavioral health survey data, proper pre-processing was critical. I ensured that categorical variables were encoded correctly and standardized numerical features before training models like the neural network, since scaling significantly improves convergence and stability in gradient-based models. I also examined correlations between features to reduce redundancy and ensure the model wasn't learning noise, because diabetes risk is influenced by combinations of lifestyle and health factors. I prioritized models capable of capturing nonlinear relationships rather than relying solely on linear assumptions. So I ended up comparing three primary models as logistic regression, tree-based model, and a neural network. So the logistic regression served as a strong interpretable baseline, but struggled to capture complex nonlinear patterns in the data. The tree-based model improved recall and captured interactions more effectively, but it required careful tuning to prevent overfitting. And ultimately, the neural network achieved the highest F1 score, it providing the best balance between precision and recall. And since this is about imbalanced data set, I evaluated performance primarily using F1 score rather than accuracy, as accuracy alone would overstate performance by favoring the majority class. To address class imbalance, I incorporated class weighting so that misclassifying individuals with prediabetes or diabetes carried greater penalty during training. This ensured the model paid appropriate attention to the minority class. In a public health context, false negatives, like missing someone who's at risk, are more harmful than false positives. So improving recall for the positive class was especially important. And finally, I implemented hyperparameter tuning for the neural network, adjusting parameters such as hidden layer size, learning rate, and regularization strength. After tuning, validation F1 score improved and overfitting was reduced, indicating better generalization to unseen data. So for the second question, it was, what did you do to assess or improve the fit of your classifier? So for this, to assess the model fit, I used a train test split and monitored performance on validation data throughout training. Ideally, k-fold cross-validation would provide more stable and robust performance estimates, and I did attempt to implement k-fold validation. However, training neural networks across multiple folds significantly increased the runtime in class, and it became computationally expensive and not feasible within the project timeframe. So given those constraints, I relied on a structured train test approach while carefully monitoring performance metrics to ensure stability. I evaluated learning curves by comparing training and validation performance over epochs. And I could go there right now, down to the neural network. So the training loss decreased steadily, while the validation performance stabilized after tuning, suggesting mild overfitting that was mitigated through regularization and adjustments to model complexity. As we can see, there's high overfitting in this test. And trying to make those changes helped improve generalization without sacrificing predictor strength. I also analyzed the confusion matrix, as we saw above, by comparing training and validation performance over epochs. The training loss decreased steadily while validation performance stabilized after tuning, and this suggested mild overfitting that was mitigated through regularization and adjustments to model complexity. This helped improve generalization without sacrificing the predictive strengths. I also analyzed the confusion matrix and precision recall curve to understand trade offs. In this diabetes prediction setting, a false negative represents someone who may remain unaware of their elevated risk and miss early intervention, which has serious long term health implications. And a false positive, while inconvenient, primarily results in additional screening or follow up. For this reason, I prioritized recall for the positive class while maintaining reasonable precision. And the precision recall curve was particularly useful because the data set is imbalanced, making it more informative diagnostic tool than accuracy alone. I also evaluated threshold behavior to ensure the decision boundary aligned with the public health priorities. And finally, the last question we had was, if you had more time or resources, what would you do to further improve the classifier? Well, like I had said before, with additional time and computational resources, I'd first implement the full k-fold cross-validation to obtain more stable and reliable performance estimates across multiple data splits. I'd also explore ensemble modeling, and I did a little bit of that as well, but just trying to combine the neural networks with the high-performing tree-based models. I think the light regressor was the best one that I saw individually. So ensembles often reduce those variants and improve overall robustness by leveraging complementary modeling strengths. So in terms of data expansion, incorporating external data sets could have been helpful, but didn't have that information. Also integrating socioeconomic indicators such as income, education level, geographic healthcare access, regional obesity, any of that could have been helpful if I had the information. And finally, a production environment would implement ongoing monitoring to detect data drift and performance degradation. So this would include tracking changes in feature distributions, monitoring F1 score and recall over time, and calculating stability metrics such as population stability index. And if drift were detected, then I would rather retrain or recalibrate the model to maintain predictive reliability. So continuous monitoring would be essential to ensure the model remains effective as population health patterns evolve. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Take care.